And there's a lot of dogma in the breathwork space, which breathwork is the best. And so all these different breathworks, they're all good for different things. It just depends on when to utilize them. So I started studying lots of different types of breath work, and there are so many different types of breath work out there, from Kundalini yoga to WIM HOF to some of the more performance breath work, such as oxygen advantage, Taiko breathing, some of the longer journey, sort of psychedelic altered state breath work, such as holotropic. But I ended up doing a holotropic breath work session with Stan Grof, and it was a profound experience for myself. I ended up releasing on a physical level more than any body work, chiropractic, physical therapy. I felt like I had 30 years of therapy in like 1 hour session. And one of the profound things that came up for me is that as a body worker, I was also a personal trainer, as a coach, I noticed that I am actually a breath worker first. I'm a body worker second. So I want to talk about breath work specifically and the different types of breath work and why breath work kind of does what it does. Breath work, breathing, your respiration, and if you break down the etymology of that, is to respire, is to respirit. And so your breath is the only body rhythm that you do on a conscious level and an unconscious level. It's the only body rhythm that you do that you can actually change right now. And we can all take a breath in. Or you don't have to think about it. You're just going to keep doing it. And so it is the bridge between your conscious and your unconscious, both psyche and soma, because they're intertwined. It's not just unconscious mind and conscious mind. It's both. There are lots of different types of breath work out there. Your breathing is actually the thing that controls what state you are in. It is the number one diagnostic tool to tell what state someone is in if they are in a contracted state. And it's the number one tool that you have, that everyone has, that's accessible to everyone because they're already doing it, that they can control their state. And so I want you to remember this rule right now. This is the number one rule of any breathing, is that if you elongate your exhale, let's take a deep breath in, let your air go. Elongate your exhale. Keep breathing out, keep breathing out, keep breathing out. If you elongate your exhale, it's going to send you into a relaxed state. It's going to, on a physiological level, on a nervous system level, it's going to send you into a relaxed state. If you elongate your inhales, it's going to send you into a sympathetic state or a stress state. And so let's try that. Take a deep breath in, let a little bit out. Deep breath in, a little bit out, a little bit out. One more deep breath in, a little bit out. That's going to send your system into an active state. If I was being chased by a tiger, how do you think I'd be breathing? I'd be breathing like, I would be breathing very intensely. This is the thing that you need to understand about breath work specifically and somatic release breath work, somatic breath work, is that we utilize both. And so in the first half of somatic breath work, we are having you breathe like you were being chased by a tiger. And it's an uncomfortable experience. It's deep breaths in and out through the mouth. And what we are doing is we are actually creating a stressed state on a nervous system level. We are taking your body into a state of stress, which in a safe container, it allows you on a physiological level to take yourself into a stress state on a somatic level. And a lot of the times it brings up a lot of the undigested emotions, a lot of the things that you needed to do on an instinctual level, because you are taking your physiology into that state of stress. And that's why a lot of those things come up. And maybe you don't even understand why it's happening on a mind level, but it's just happening on a somatic level. And so it'll bring up emotions. It'll bring up instinctual defense systems. It'll bring up things that your body needed to do. Maybe it's to shake it off, or maybe the thing that you needed to do in the moment was to yell and scream the words no. We spike your nervous system, and there's a lot of other things that are going on as well too, but this is a very basic understanding. And then that second half and this discharging period, this first half, is creating a space for people to discharge traumatic responses, discharge stress responses, clear out undigested emotions, allow people to feel. And once you clear on a somatic level, a lot of the times you become clear mentally. You become clear. When you clear, you become clear. And so that second half is really an opportunity for people, for when we've spiked someone's nervous system. First off, we've spiked their system. Now we are going to show them how to actually regulate their system back down when they're in a stress state. And so the second half, I switch to in through the nose, and I have you start to slow your breath down. So we're spiking it, and a lot of the times when you spike your nervous system, you actually can drop into a relaxed state that much better. You actually can, and we're retraining the nervous system to give it permission to discharge, and then take it back into a relaxed state. And during that relaxed state, during that second half, this is why this work becomes so powerful. Is a lot of the times people see clearly. They see very clearly what it is they want to do in this world. And so as a coach, I've done so many sessions around where we've helped people clear on a somatic level, and they've become clear mentally, and there is no other agenda besides your breath. So anything that's coming up, it's coming up from your inspiration, from your respiration. People have profound insights. And it also gives us an opportunity to, now that you've cleared so much out, what do you actually want to embody? How do you want to feel? And so I've been to so many different types of breath works, especially holotropic, where the whole thing is very intense. Traditional holotropic is done for 3 hours, and it's heavy breathing the whole time. No breath holds, no nothing. It is very intense. Personally, I don't believe that it needs to be that intense for that long. You can do half intense. And a lot of the times people's identities, they are so intertwined with their traumas, and you clear all of that out, people don't know who they are. So it's important that we create that firing and rewiring state for them, to actually create the felt sensation of emotion, to embed the embodiment of who they want to be, what they want people to feel from them, and starting to fire and wire that back in on a body-centered level, on a somatic-centered level. Because once a body, or once a human has experienced a certain amount of expansion, has experienced an elevated emotion, your system recognizes that it's possible later on. Once you've expanded yourself to a certain thing, once you've had a certain experience, you know what it's like, and therefore it's accessible later on. And that starts to create the integration process for people, because that state, that access point of clarity, is accessible later on because it's already been accessed. And there's a lot of other integration techniques. But so the first half, we're spiking, we're using elevated exhale or elongated exhales. In the second half, we are using elongated inhales. And there's so much more involved. It kind of is hard for me to just wrap it up into such a small box for you guys.